What's up, y'all? This DZ. And I've been seeing like a lot of people my age, a lot of brothers, late 40s, 50s, something like that, are still in the hip hop, still making music, and still getting kind of hit with the why you still doing this shit? You kind of old, bro. And I want to talk a little bit about ageism in hip hop. And instead of asking why, I have a theory. Doesn't mean I have an answer. I have a theory on where that comes from. All right, remember back in the days, hip hop definitely had gatekeeping going on. Like we didn't have the internet, we didn't even have CD duplicators or anything like that. There were mixtapes and stuff like that, but weren't too many people that had the resources to do anything like that at a mass level. And if they did, they probably saw a little success, like going out of the trunk, being independent. But for the most part, like you weren't going to reach the masses without a record deal. And a lot of those people that got those record deals, they were relatively young. Like they were young, a lot of them were kids. And now I do have another point about like whenever you see kids, especially whenever you saw kids back in the days, exploitation. But also that's kind of like a function of capitalism because they think kids have the most disposable income. I don't know where that comes from. A lot of times kids have no income, but I guess the market research shows that. And so, like, you weren't going to get on unless you had a record deal. And a lot of times, like we had a lot of one-hit wonders back in them days too, because a lot of people did get them record deals, and they came out. They might have had a good record, good album, but it wasn't as big a commercial success as it needed to be, and they never got a second one. Some artists did get a first and a second and a third album or whatever because they were wildly successful, but it wasn't no independent thing. Come on, Pepper, stop knocking. Got my little puppy here. Got my little girl here knocking the camera around. All right, yeah, and it wasn't a wild success. And so, or some people did get those record deals and they got that big success. They were like ended up being cultural icons, and then they got that second album, they got that third album, and they got that fourth album, and they were a little bit older. And you know what happened? The motherfuckers got whack. Like they got whacked. They were victims of their own success. They got comfortable. They kind of thought that they had a formula. And they did have a formula for the main part. They had a process and a formula. But meanwhile, this music is kind of always changing. It's always evolving. It's always adapting. And if you don't keep up with it, and that doesn't mean copy, because that's another mistake a lot of people did. But if you don't adapt to it, if you don't evolve yourself, like you'll get left behind. You can't get worse as you get older, especially like with your skill level and all that good stuff, with your penmanship and with your musical selection. You cannot get worse as time goes on. Like you'll get left behind, and then the stigma is like, man, these old dudes, they get older and they start sounding like the cat in the hat. I don't want to say it, but they start sounding like nursery rhyme dudes, right? And they basically get rid of it, and it gets written off as like, this is how all them old dudes sound. They sound like a huppa and a huppa, a huppa. They sound like some bullshit, right? But that's not necessarily true, because you had a whole bunch of people that were able to make, they were able to go past album 3 and past album 4, the album 5, 6, 7. And they got older under the radar, and no one even really noticed that. They just continues because they always elevated, or they always changed, or they always picked up, some people from around the way, like the next generation, and put them on. Like when you look at dudes like Scarface, when you look at dudes like Ice Cube, and nowadays you got dudes like Nas and Jay-Z. And if you look at Jay-Z, like Jay-Z is the perfect explanation of like didn't get on as a kid and didn't get exploited, came in independent, and he came in older. And then you had dudes coming in older, like DMX, like he didn't get successful till he was damn near 30. And the same with Jay-Z, and you kind of same with like Rick Ross and 2 Chainz, even though 2 Chainz was titty boy for a while. So you started seeing older cats come into the game and start making their noise and stuff like that, but they had really good music. So yes, I believe it's possible and success is relative. Like success means different things to different people. Like if I don't know, for some people it might be like, look, man, I make I get a lot of listens, or like I get a lot of listens, I get a lot of channel views, and so like I can make some Google AdSense money or something like that, or I can do the occasional concert or the show, I can sell the occasional beat. Like it makes money for me. It makes back the money that I spend, and that's success for people, and that's good enough. For some people, it could just be like I outdid stuff that I made before. I made something better than what I made before. Um, Success is relative. I don't nowadays the music industry is kind of like dying. I want to talk about that some other time, but I believe it's totally possible for you to make good music way into your days. Now, it does seem like there's a pass for people that have already been established. Like when you look at like dudes like Nas, you know, the only reason like Nas couldn't come out today and people be like, man, that is hot. He'd probably get hit with the, why are you doing this, old dude? You know, he couldn't come out today and do that, but the fact that he was already established. The same with Jay-Z. Everybody's looking forward to a next Jay-Z album, and I'm pretty sure this dude's like halfway through his 50s. And that is perfectly fine. Before I go, I want to talk about Pete and Baz. Pete and Baz, they are this hip hop group out of the UK. These dudes got to be in their 70s. Like, and they make rap. And this isn't like senile, old, like, I'm in the nursing home rap. Like, they rap with British accents over drill beats, over London drill beats. And these dudes is fire. Like, these dudes is fire. They are spitting. And these motherfuckers got a following. They have a straight up following, like they sell concert tickets. They sell venues. They actually have a following that actually support and love them. So I don't know why that is. I can't sit here and hypothesize why it's different over there, but they were able to do it. And I personally think like if they were able to do it, anybody can do it. Because at the end of the day, like it's not so much about old you are. It wasn't really a music of an age group. It was a music of a generation. And it was able to kind of sustain and last through into different generations. It wasn't created for a specific age group. It was created more like for a specific class. So it was more like a music of class, but then the commercial aspect of it said that, kids will make money. And so that's how the whole this is a music for kids kind of thing took place, because kids really gravitated to it, but it was more like for a class, man. Like you had some old motherfuckers dealing with hip hop music in the early days too, as much as you did kids, but you just had a lot of kids. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and digress. But that's my piece on ageism in hip hop, y'all. As you can see, I have a studio behind me. I've had a studio for I don't know the past 20 something years. I always did it. I just always done it. Sometimes I made a few bucks. Sometimes I don't. But you ain't gonna do shit if you don't put it out there, or kind of, I don't know, don't advertise your services, or don't let people know you do it. You're just doing it for the house, and I don't know, you're just doing it for yourself. And what's the point of doing that, I guess. But anyway, y'all, enjoy whatever you listen to, whether it's the kids, because the kids are dope. The kids are definitely fire. They're doing their thing. They're doing their own thing. There's room for multiple genres, because what the kids are doing and what the old heads are doing is two completely different things. And love can be shown on both sides. So, we don't have to worry about what the kids are doing. They got them. They got themselves. And they got leverage now because they can go direct to consumer. So I'm happy for these youngins. Keep doing what you're doing, especially the ones that sound good. Because there are some that sound good, that sound phenomenal. There's some youngins out there that sound phenomenal. So, and there's some old dudes that sound phenomenal. And I'm going to listen to whatever sounds good to me. Thank you. Have a good one, y'all.